Hapade Guam and welcome to KUAM News Extra. I'm Sonya Artero. The professional development of Afghan National Army soldiers doesn't end when they leave the Kabul Military Training Center. Across Afghanistan, wherever Afghan National Army battalions are deployed, whether conducting combat operations alongside coalition forces in the east and south or security and stability operations in the west and north, they do so accompanied by U.S. soldiers known as embedded trainers. Now, in an effort to inform those interested in following how our men and women are doing in the war zone, especially in light of the pending deployment of additional guardsmen from Guam, we will talk with representatives from the 1st Embedded Trainer Team from Guam. On February 21st, the Guam National Guard mobilized a team of 16 individuals in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. The mission, the team, was to mentor an Afghan combat support battalion in a battery of operations. Now, representing this troop is Lieutenant Colonel Roderick Leon Guerrero, who was briefly home on leave. Rod began his deployment as the team chief, but after a recent change of command, he assumed the position of commander for the 105th Troop of the Guam Guard. And joining Rod Leon Guerrero is his team's police mentor, Captain Fred Chargaloff. Gentlemen, thank you very much for agreeing to come on. And I know it took a lot of begging on my part, but I really appreciate you coming here and informing the public about what you men do there. We'll start off with, how did you prepare as an organization for this embedded training deployment?
Well, Sonia, thank you for inviting us to your show. Before we get into that, just want to take an opportunity to talk about the Guam Guard.
Yes,
and the plug for recruiting. The Guam Guard is the youngest of 54 states and territories that have National Guards, and the Guam Guard is able to put together a team to train outside the U.S. and to train the Afghan National Army. So it's something that we're proud of doing. We did a lot to prepare for training. We did combat lifesaver skills, we did communication skills, we sharpened our skills on what we're training the Afghan National Army on. So we did a lot to prepare.
What was your primary mission while there? I mentioned a battery of operations, but what in fact were those operations? What did they consist of?
Well, what happened when we got there was they broke up our team, and we didn't do what we were trained to do. So half the team went to train the police, and the other half went to train the Afghan National Army. And I initially was training the Afghan National Army. I was training a colonel, mentoring, and then I got moved to be a personnel operations at the joint operation level. I don't know, Fred, can you talk about your experience?
Yes, I'm a mentor for the Afghan National Police.
Right.
And my role really is to train the Afghan National Police on what we call our systems, which is personnel, logistics, and training. So for the most part, yes, we got split up, and I now currently train a police chief in the province of Coast, and what we do is we train them on how to manage their logistics, how to manage their personnel, human resources, as well as their training.
As their team leader, he's very humble. Actually, both of you are extremely humble, but he mentioned that so simply when, in fact, I'm sure there are many challenges that face you out in the field. Tell us about some of the challenges that go with the positions that you folks hold.
There's a whole slew of issues that we go through. Being out there and being exposed to danger, that's the first. You always have to be on guard. A couple times when I was out, it's not like going out to Ganyar, to Mooning, and you have to always have security. And one time I witnessed an accident where a truck rolled down a hill, and just to provide first aid, we had to do a perimeter of security, and then we provide first aid. So that's the kind of things that we go through when you're out in the city, or they call them villages out in Afghanistan.
How did you folks feel when you first landed on this foreign soil? Were you scared?
Well, you're scared, there's anxiety, you're in a different area, so it's all those different emotions running through your mind, that you're in a new country, you've never been there before, so you know, I guess it's just a mixture of our emotions, at least for me.
Yeah, you're scared. However, you know that you're trained and you're prepared, and your team is prepared. So you know you're going to work together. So although you're scared, you know you can overcome your fears and just do what you need to do, get your mission done.
What was it actually like being embedded with this Afghan force, and what were they called?
In my case, they're called the Afghan National Army. I was working at the corps level, and then Freddie was working with the Afghan National Police at the district level.
District level, yes.
Yeah, so he was working with the police. I was working with the Army. For me, it was a good experience. I enjoyed it. I felt the colonel. I was mentoring a full colonel. The colonel had a lot to offer, and he just needed some guidance and direction. And if he had more mentors, more time for training, he can be a better officer.
What were some of his main concerns about being trained under your guidance?
I guess having to deal with corruption. There's a lot of corruption out there, and they don't know how to deal with it, and they don't like telling on their counterparts. Right. So when they see corruption, they don't know how to deal with it, and so you just tell them the tact way or politically correct way to how to deal with corruption.
And after a while, did they pick up on that and actually enforce that?
Well, it's hard for them to do it, but eventually they get to it. But you can avoid dealing with corruption if you're proactive at it, and that's if you set systems in place that take away the opportunity for people to be corrupt, then you don't have to worry about it. For example, soldiers, they get paid cash, or it's not like how we get paid automatically. They get actual cash in hand. And so what some of the officers are doing is they'll count for soldiers that are not there, and they'll take the cash.
Yeah.
So that's correct. Mm-hmm. So the way to prevent that corruption is you take away the opportunity for them to report those soldiers as present. So one of the things they're implementing right now is when they take accountability, the U.S. have to be there to verify that. So, and eventually the senior officers will get that, and they will implement their own safety measures to prevent corruption.
Thanks for explaining that, and good to know you guys are making great headway. Up next, we will learn more about the mission of the 105th Troop of the Guam Guard and their experience in Afghanistan. That's it.